Hello, everybody. Welcome to Counselor's Couch 101. I am Jim Stump. If you'd like to communicate, please send me a comment down below or send me an email at counselorscouch101@mail.com. Just mail.com. I appreciate getting comments and emails from folks because it lets me know what's on your mind, what's relevant to what you're going through right now. And if we can post those and have people respond to that, we can all benefit from these experiences. We can share the experiences that we've had and the wisdom that we picked up along the way. So I invite your emails, your comments, and your participation. I think that's the way to benefit us most. Anyway, I received an email a little bit ago, and I did not receive permission to mention the name or to read the email and like that, so I won't. But I can identify the issue. It's pertains back to that 100,000 paper cuts that we talked about a while ago. It's about growing up in a negative environment where people sort of put you down and hold you down and keep you down. It becomes ingrained. It becomes a part of the way we think of ourselves. So that's something that we need to change because we are in control of what we are saying to ourselves now, even though we've been programmed previously to think negative thoughts about ourselves. Still hot around here. As I said, I can't read the email and I can't give you the name, but I can tell you what I wrote in response. That I can share with you. Here goes. I mentioned his name and I say, great name. And I said, you have already identified your issue, anxiety stemming from not being good enough, which isn't true, by the way, the not being good enough part. You can spend years and a lot of money rummaging through the past, recounting every incident of every slight and insult ever done to you. There's a benefit in this, of course, but does that outweigh the cost? By the cost, I didn't mean just the money. I meant the time, how much time it would take you to do that. You can achieve the goal of living a truly fulfilled life by changing your thinking. Living the fulfilled life was something he had mentioned in his email. And I put, I know this sounds stupid, but go to your mirror and say something positive about yourself, something that is true, but something positive. Do it often. Do it until you believe it. I suggested this technique to another guy, and he told me he couldn't think of a single thing positive about himself that he could say to a mirror or anything else. Well, I challenged that idea until he shouted at me, I don't believe there's anything positive about me. What am I supposed to say? I told him, go to your mirror and say this. My counselor likes me. Well, the guy took a second. He was quiet for a few seconds, and he sort of took it in, sort of considered it, and then he started crying. When he regained control of himself, he promised he would do it, and he got better quickly. There are other techniques you can use, but try this one first, then write back to me and we'll see how you're doing. Many blessings, my friends. We weren't put in the world to beat ourselves up. You are surrounded by people who can use your help. It's time to get to it. See, that's the deal. We limit ourselves in things we can do and the sorts of things we can benefit other people with because of the negative thinking. And like I say, we've been programmed by other people, and it's not true. I have virtually never met someone who had a whole host of negative thoughts in their head in which those thoughts were accurate. They weren't. It's just somebody else trying to hold someone down in order for that person who's doing the negativity to feel better about themselves and get through their day and their week and their life because they're not doing well. They think of themselves as not being as good as other people. So they push that idea off onto the scapegoat. They told this man here, right, he wasn't good enough for the things that he was trying to do in his life and the things that they thought he should be doing. Which is another thing. People try to steer you into careers and jobs and occupations and so on and so forth based on their needs. And by their needs, I mean their needs for the person to not succeed or to be doing a certain thing that they direct. Then the person feels like they had a superior position because they directed the person into that career or into that job, into that situation, or maybe even relationship, and they feel superior to the person because they believe they've done that. They've controlled the person. We've kept them subservient to ourselves is kind of the theme behind that. None of that is true, and none of that works. And sometimes we just have to distance ourselves from it, right? And I don't like to see families break up, but oftentimes we have to sort of not subject ourselves to that negative input as often as we have been doing in order to get away from it and recover from it. People want to keep us in the way that they knew us previously because they get something out of it. And I don't mean they're taking your money or your time or your effort or anything, but they get something emotional out of it by keeping you in a particular mindset over time, right? So we have to fight against that. And if we have to separate ourselves out from it in order to get it to stop, then sometimes that's what needs to be. And it comes in all sorts of different types of relationships. It's not only parents and siblings. I'm speaking to a gentleman recently, and he said he was bullied by a cousin. A cousin he grew up with was virtually like a brother because they lived side by side in side by side houses, and they did similar things and went to the same school and involved in the same community activities and all that. And the cousin was a bully. And why do we suppose the cousin was picking on the guy I'm talking to? Because the cousin's father was dragging him down, and he had to alleviate himself of the pain by passing it on to someone else. And that's a very major idea I'd like to leave all of you with as we go through these videos, is the idea that if we can understand what the behavior of the person we're dealing with, it makes it easier for us to cope. And never believe when someone is telling you how bad you are and how incompetent, etc. Set that aside and look at it rationally and calmly. Challenge it when you get a quiet moment, because chances are excellent it wasn't about you, it was about them. As we go along, please share your experiences with people in your life, whether it be co-workers, neighbors, fellow church members, family, whatever, co-workers, like I say. The sorts of things you run into where people do those negative things to you, let's look at it. And if we can understand where they're coming from, it's not that we're going to change their behavior. We can change our reaction to their behavior by understanding it and saying, okay, this didn't knock me over. I'm still going in the right attitude and the right way in life. I'm not letting it destroy me. So share your experiences like that, and let's see how we can benefit one another through all of these little videos and the discussion that goes with it. Hope you'll do that. CounselorsCouch101@mail.com. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk with you soon.